right, folks, it's time for the post-race show for round number 13 of the third season of the Canadian E-Motorsports Network NASCAR Series, the Summerside Toyota 250, live from the virtual Texas Motor Speedway. And it's certainly had its fair share of eventful moments going on, but ultimately in the end, it was the number 97 Tornado Alley E-Racing Chevy of Ty Higginbotham out of Kansas City, Missouri, who was able to survive at the very end to pick up his third win of the year, and with it, an entry into the round of 8. And we've got Ty Higginbotham on the line once again. Ty, good to hear from you.
Yeah, good to be here again, Jordy.
And obviously, it's been a little bit. It was just kind of right before the end of the regular season the last time we got to chat. And obviously, the circumstances are a little bit different tonight. So, how nice is it to get this one under your belt and have that, again, automatic entry into the round of 8?
Oh man, it feels amazing. I think last year I won the first race in the round of 12 as well at Auto Club. So maybe we just need to keep having these races at the beginning of the round of 12. But yeah, it feels great to get the win, and especially with Bristol coming up next. I like Bristol, but you never know what can happen there with it being a short track. So it feels good to not have to really worry about it going into there.
Well, I was going to save that question until the very end, but let's open that particular can of worms straight away. Obviously, not nearly as much to worry about, and given the venue, it's not a bad thing to have in your back pocket. So, like, do you approach the race differently at all now that you know that you don't have that kind of immediate pressure to get to the front, or what's the kind of vision looking like for next week?
It, I mean, I'm probably going to go into the race still the same way. Probably just not going to be as, aggressive, for sure, and let the other guys battle it out. But um, like I said, I love the short tracks on this game. Iowa, Martinsville, Bristol, Richmond. Um, and I was looking forward to Bristol, but also know, those short tracks with so many cars, it can cause problems, and you never know what could happen. It could happen to you. Just get caught up into something and just make your race terrible. So with it being an elimination race, it adds even more pressure and guys get more aggressive. So very, very glad that I was able to get the win at Texas tonight and kind of get that pressure off my back.
Yeah, but it certainly wasn't an easy job of it tonight here as well, because obviously there was sort of a consistent group that really separated themselves at the head of the field. And you were very much part of that, kind of hanging around the middle of it for the majority of kind of the first half of the race. But it seems like something changed with the green flag pit stop in the second stage. It seemed like things kind of took off for you from there. So, is there something in particular that you can point to that, was maybe something that changed the course of the evening for you?
Yeah, so the first two stages, like you said, was kind of middle of the pack. I was just riding, behind the guys, not pushing anything. If one of them slipped up, you take the spot. Just some good racing with all those guys, and um, things just like the guys started getting loose. I always have that long run car. Like I feel like I keep repeating myself, but I just loved the long run car. It gets that speed at the end, and they're in stage three. Um, I started out with the lead, and I fell back to third, I think, and Picola let me in, and it was me, Picola, and Sauce, 3, 4, 5, for pretty much the whole stage, and and then we were able to save a little bit of gas, so we were able to stay out a little bit longer than the guys, and we wanted to do that to get those fresher tires there. And honestly, I thought that everyone else was going to be a good because previous two stages, if you pitted later, you would have to catch up about a second and a half on the other guys because they pitted before you. But we came out right behind Jacob and Mike, and me and Piccolo and Sauce were able to just get it back together there and, kind of run our race and get up to 1, 2, 3. And I felt like once that happened and knowing I had my, teammates behind me, it was pretty set for the last part of the stage. And I knew whoever was behind me though was going to battle for that win. So even with, them being teammates and stuff like that, I still had that in the back of my mind. But yeah, it definitely helps when your teammates are there with you, going through there at the end.
Yeah, I mean, you sort of touched on something I was going to go to direction wise, but obviously it got, it was highly competitive in those last, say, 10 to 15 laps. And again, it's one thing to have the teammates there, but ultimately everyone wants to go for the win. But ultimately, you pretty well put up a defensive clinic in that final, again, 10 lap run there. So honestly, how were you able to kind of keep it going and kind of keep things focused on the road again, knowing the kind of charges you were going to get from behind?
Yeah, I mean, just look at who it was behind me. I mean, you got the Gator, you got Sauce, and you got Jacob, who hasn't had a win yet, and he's really hungry for that to put into smaller terms to get that win. And he had a really fast car tonight too. All those guys did. Um, I wish I could have a clear answer for you, to be honest, but it was pretty much, just making sure I hit my lines and keeping that inside is huge at Texas. And uh, like I said, with the 94 and the 53 behind me, we weren't going to make any bonehead moves to each other to knock one of us completely out of the race. And we were honestly trying to work together to pull away from Jacob and Mike. And I think Mike got loose and went through the grass, which ended his chance. But Jacob was still able to stay there. But yeah, I was sweating, Jordy. I knew one of those guys was going to make a run at some point, and Sauce did there with 2 laps to go. And I think I might have got loose. He got my car loose there out of 4, and I might have got into him a little bit. On my end, it looked like I did. And I think he got the grass a little bit, which slowed him down, which was why I was able to cut in front of him in the 1, with the help of Jacob and Picola. So yeah, I feel like rambling on, but yeah, it was definitely stressful, to say at least.
Yeah, it looked like you were putting absolutely everything into that defense. And again, ultimately it paid off here for you. But you talk about, a couple of guys getting loose there at the end. I want to point to something that I heard in the Discord chat from you with a couple laps to go. I think I heard, and I quote, "The car is on skates right now." So that begs the question, how much further do you think you could have gone with the car in that condition?
I honestly, I think if the race would have went on maybe 5 more laps, those guys would have got me. They, I just, the car was getting so loose there on the exits, and it's when you're in the lead like that, and you got 3 guys that are just right on your tail, and by yourself coming out of 4 is already loose. So if somebody's right there on your left rear corner panel coming out of 4, it just makes it wicked loose. And I think with coming to 2 to go, my car just started to get away from me, and I was putting so much will into it, trying to keep it straight and keep the speed. And honestly, if, like I said, if it was 1 or 2 or 3 more laps, I feel like Sauce or Jacob would have got it for sure. So yeah, it was definitely on some ice skates.
But again, you managed to hang on, and now things, again, a little bit less stressful going into next week's Fix Auto Charlottetown 250, which, as we've mentioned now, is at Bristol Motor Speedway. Again, that's next Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll get things rolling on the Canadian E-Motorsports Network YouTube channel. But again, Ty, it's nice for you to not have to worry too much about that. But I guess outside of maybe your own perspective of what you think is going to go down, what do you think is kind of going to be the overall picture of how next week goes, especially knowing that 4 drivers are going to get eliminated?
I'm going to just say this. I think the viewers are going to be in for a show. It's going to be crazy. Bristol's, I mean, even in real life, Bristol is known to have the most craziest finishes and craziest moments. I wouldn't be surprised if tempers flare, and saw some of that tonight. And it's going to be a spectacle. It's going to be a really good race, and I mean, the round of 16 came down to like 3 or 4 guys being within 3 points of each other for the final spot. So it's going to be wild.
And again, that's one less thing that you've got to worry about as you sort of clinch your spot in the round of 8. So Ty, once again, congratulations on the win, and we'll not only see you at Bristol, but we'll see you very much in title contention in the round of 8 starting in a couple weeks' time.
Thanks, Jordy. I also just wanted to give a shout out to the team. I think that was our 10th win of the year. Getting double digits in a league like this is insane. So I got to give a shout out to my guys for that.
Headlights out, it's go! He's going to get ahead of McCauley into turn 1. Cody Cudmore with a great start. The winner of the Centennial Autosport and Tire Spanish Grand Prix is Darcy Ford. McCauley's gotten a good start off the line, but it looks like Darcy Ford's gotten up into second. Italian Grand Prix is underway. Go, go, go down that start-finish straight. And he's got it! Cody Cudmore with an absolute stunner at the end. Stealing pole position. Here goes your winner, the 5190 Racing Bugatti of Jason Butler. Your champion of the Formula One Series, Corbin McCauley.
Daniel Cudmore, he wins Season 2 of the Formula One Series.